the Newshour Special Edition.
Hello and welcome. Thank you very much for joining us here on Times Now. This is the Newshour Special Edition this Saturday evening, and I'm Heena Gambhir. Today, viewers, from our northeastern state of Manipur, after about 864 strife and violence-filled days, we bring you pictures of a healing touch. We bring to you an outreach that can usher in a future that includes normalcy, peace, and even prosperity. We will tell you what unfolded, not just through spoken words, but pictures. Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited Manipur for the first time since ethnic clashes broke out in May 2023. His critics said the visit was long overdue, calling it nothing but dikhava or tokenism. We will just say that the pictures from Manipur today told a very different story. We will let you, the viewers, be the judge. Prime Minister Modi's aircraft landed at the airport in Imphal. His first pit stop was Churachandpur. But it was raining heavily in Imphal and Churachandpur. He was told that the weather was not conducive for helicopter travel. The rally venue was about 1.5 hours away by road. Despite heavy rainfall, Prime Minister Modi decided that he would reach the rally venue by road, no matter how much time it took, just so that he could interact with the people. After the 1.5-hour journey, locals braved the rain to welcome the Prime Minister. Prime Minister Modi then unveiled developmental projects worth thousands of crores. Viewers, Manipur today heard news of hope as the Prime Minister said that the centre seeks to make Manipur a symbol of peace and prosperity. He unveiled his 3P plan to transform the state: peace, progress and prosperity. He even promised the gathering that the government of India and he is with them. In a signal to Manipur's youth, Prime Minister Modi praised them for their contribution to India's defence and sports. He paid tributes to BSF Constable Deepak Chingakham of Manipur's 7th Battalion, who laid down his life during unprovoked cross-border firing by Pakistani forces in the Arispura sector of Jammu and Kashmir on 10th of May. And then came the healing touch. After his address, the Prime Minister went to meet those who have borne the brunt of violence, the internally displaced people due to the strife. He interacted with young girls, women, the elderly. He listened, he consoled, he absorbed their pain. Later, in Imphal, the state capital, he once again spent time with displaced families. One scene stood out among all: a young girl breaking down as she narrated her ordeal. And you can see it on your screens right now. With the Prime Minister listening intently to every word. The symbolism was powerful too. In this conflict, Churachandpur is dominated by one community, Imphal by the other. By visiting both, the Prime Minister sent out a message loud and clear that he is there for everyone. Listen.
मणिपुर को पीस, प्रॉस्पेरिटी और प्रोग्रेस का प्रतीक बनाने का लक्ष्य लेकर चल रहे हैं और मैं आज आपको वादा करता हूं, मैं आपके साथ हूं। मणिपुर में किसी भी तरह की हिंसा दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है। ये हिंसा हमारे पूर्वजों और हमारी भावी पीढ़ी के साथ भी बहुत बड़ा अन्याय है।
The Bharatiya Janata Party, led by party's former Manipur Chief Minister Biren Singh, hailed Prime Minister Modi's visit to Manipur, calling it a decisive step towards restoring peace and normalcy in the strife-torn state. The party also lauded him as the only Prime Minister to make consistent efforts to bring vikas not just to Manipur but to the entire Northeast.
तो मोदी जी ने यहाँ आके वेदर की वजह से खुद इम्फाल एयरपोर्ट से चुरचांदपुर को बाय रोड किया है तो हम लोग उम्मीद है, पीपल आर एक्सपेक्टिंग कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी आए मणिपुर में। अभी डेवलपमेंट तो पहले से भी कर रहा है, और देन 8,000 करोड़ का ये इनोग्रेशन है, फाउंडेशन स्टोन है। तो हम लोग ये सोचता हूँ कि मणिपुर में जल्दी से जल्दी प्राइम मिनिस्टर आने के साथ साथ पीस वापस आ जाए।
I'd like to specially thanks Prime Minister Modi for what he has done to the Northeast region. No Prime Minister before Narendra Modi has taken care of Northeast, and nobody thought even that there is a part of India which needs attention, which needs development.
The locals braved incessant rainfall to catch a glimpse of the Prime Minister. But the opposition, which had long been demanding that the Prime Minister visit Manipur, was quick to shift the goalpost. Several INDIA bloc leaders mocked Prime Minister Modi, dismissing the visit as too little too late, with some even calling it as a mere spectacle and drama. Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge called it a 3-hour pit stop, not compassion. He called it farce and tokenism. Listen in to what the Vipaksh had to say.
I'm glad that he has decided after 2 years that it's worth him visiting. He should have visited long before. And it's very unfortunate that he has allowed what is happening there to happen for so long, and so many people to get killed and so many people to go through so much strife before he has decided to visit. That's not been the tradition of Prime Ministers in India.
वो मणिपुर जा रहे हैं, बाहरे बा। जय हो प्रधानमंत्री जी। सब कुछ गमा के तब इन्हें मणिपुर याद आ रहा है। मणिपुर की बेटी तरफती रही तब इन्हें याद नहीं आया।
Well, I think it's a good thing. There's been a lot of commentary about the fact that Prime Minister Modi has avoided traveling to that part of the country, and particularly after the violence that broke out in 2023. So as we say in Hindi, der aaye durust aaye, better late than never. It's a good thing he's visiting.
So viewers, tonight we debate, should one see the birth of hope and healing in Prime Minister's visit to Manipur, or accept the narrative that it's just a show or dikhawa? And to discuss it, I'm joined this evening by my guests. We have with us Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Tushar Gupta, political analyst, Advocate Nikhil Jain, political analyst, Ghanshyam Tiwari, National Spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, and Professor Manojit Mondal, political analyst. Good evening to all of you. Thank you very much for joining us here on Times Now. The question that I just asked, I have it for each one of you, and I want to give each one of you 10 seconds. So here's my question. Should one see the birth of hope and healing in Prime Minister's visit to Manipur today, or accept the narrative that it's just a show or dikhawa? Sanju Verma, 10 seconds.
You know, I just want to say that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has visited the Northeast more than 50 times in the last 11 years. And to every Congress Darbari out there who's been mocking Prime Minister's visit, never ever forget that Manmohan Singh was a Rajya Sabha MP from Assam between 1991 and 2019 for 28 long years. And Manmohan Singh did not visit Assam even twice. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has walked the talk, and I think the biggest example of that is that for the first time in 78 years, you have Mizoram being directly connected via rail network all the way to New Delhi. I mean, it's a shame that the Congress party ruled India at the center for the longest time, for almost 6 decades, and Mizoram was treated as just an appendix, as an addendum.
Okay. Professor Manojit Mondal.
I think if you look at the records of the Prime Minister's visit to foreign country in the last 2.5 years, since when Manipur was burning, hundreds of people were killed, the properties were burned down, women were raped, even a minister, central minister's house was burned down. Only after 30 months of that kind of mayhem, the Prime Minister got time to visit Manipur. Whereas in these 30 months, he had at least taken 30 visits to foreign country. few lakhs miles he has visited, but he could not cover 2,000 kilometers from Delhi to Manipur by air. That's the tragedy of this country. That's the kind of lip service that BJP gives when it comes to their Look East policy.
Okay.
Integrating these people of Northeast rightly to the mainstream India.
Okay.
They are still there and nothing has happened as yet.
Okay. You know, all these points can be made a bit later. Professor Monojit Mandal, one second, Professor Monojit Mandal. I have asked a very specific question. I am giving 10 seconds to each one of you to make your opening comments on that particular question. And then, of course, we can, go on with the debate like we always do. So, let me go across to Advocate Nikhil Jain for his opening remarks.
First of all, I take very strong objection to the fact that when the BJP says that the Prime Minister's visit is some sort of a healing touch, we are not calling it a narrative. But when the opposition says that the Prime Minister has done too little, too late, we are somehow, for some reason, calling it a narrative. And I don't see the opposition shifting any goalposts. They've been asking this Prime Minister for accountability for 2 years and 4 months now? 2 years, 4 months Manipur has been burning. And by the way, Biren Singh is not the Chief Minister right now. There is a President rule since February 2025 and he's practically not been in charge of the law and order of the state since at least about 2 years, since when it's been under the union government. And the Prime Minister visiting Manipur right now just shows that he knows that the people of the country are now realizing this is not a man who cares for the women or their security. At a time when Bihar is going to polls and the women in the state are not questioning Prime Minister's commitment to women's security, I think he's finally made the touchdown on Manipur, which he did not bother to do for over 2 years. I think it's deplorable. I don't see it as a healing touch. I see it as a shameless political move and nothing else.
Okay, Ghanshyam Tiwari.
Good evening, Heena, to you, the viewers and the fellow co-panelists. Anybody can Google and one would realize that between 1st January 2022 and the day Manipur voted in February 2022, Prime Minister visited Manipur more number of times, promised Manipur that you will be the most important center in Asia, East Asia, more number of times, you will be a prosperous state, more number of times than he has done in the last 3 years. So this is an insult to anybody who sees leadership in the Prime Minister.
Okay.
A man who goes missing when the time comes, but can go out and seek votes, make false promises, install a chief minister who was inquired by the Supreme Court when his audio was available that he had a real hand in the kind of violence that played out. So BJP overall is a party of ultimate shamelessness, and this is just an example. This visit is an example of that leadership that makes BJP an ultimately shameless party.
Okay. Tushar Gupta.
The three gentlemen before me who spoke, it tells a lot about their political acumen if they think that the PMO wasn't actively involved in Manipur for the last 2.5 years. Nevertheless, look, if you have to get a conflict-ridden space to move forward, to move ahead, to sort of start a new chapter in their lives, in the people's lives, you have to focus on the local economics, and that is what the PM's visit was all about. Inaugurate a lot of projects, tell people to move on with their lives. Whatever the conflict was, the government was actively involved, the forces were actively involved in sort of easing out the entire conflict. But Manipur now has to look ahead. It's a strategic state, it's a very important border state, and it deserves all the development, all the infrastructure, all the social and economic welfare it can get, and that is how the PM's visit should be perceived. About the timing, if the PM had done this 10 months ago, the opposition would still be playing out the same rhetoric like a broken record. If the PM had done it 10 months after today, they would have still been saying the same thing. So for them, this is about opposing everything mindlessly with zero political acumen.
Okay. So viewers, you heard the answer to the most important question here, where everyone on the debate tonight stands. I want to now go across to Sanju Verma. Sanju Verma, when Prime Minister Modi had not visited Manipur after May 2023 when the violence broke out, and every time he would visit any other country as the Prime Minister of this country, as the representative of all of us, opposition used to say that PM has all the time to go abroad, has no time to visit Manipur. Today, when he visited Manipur, he announced certain projects, he laid foundation stones as well for some very, very important initiatives there. Now the opposition says it's nothing but dikhava, tokenism. Mallikarjun Kharge said it's not compassion, 3-hour pit stop, nothing else. How will you like to respond?
Heena, first and foremost, I take strong objection to a law clerk masquerading as an advocate and using the term shameless for the Prime Minister. And then there's the Samajwadi Party spokesperson who also used the word shameless for the Prime Minister. This shows कि आप में कितनी तहजीब और तमीज है. But let me come to the point. Let your audience be the judge. When was Assam formed? Assam was formed in 1950, 1950. And guess what? For 15 long years, from 2001 to 2016, Gaurav Gogoi's father, Tarun Gogoi, was the chief minister. And Assam got its first All India Institute of Medical Sciences branch, AIMS, in Guwahati was opened in 2023. Thanks to whom? Thanks to Prime Minister Modi. Tripura became a full-fledged state in 1972. But when did Agartala come on to the railway network's broad gauge? It was in 2016. Then let's talk about the fact that Manipur was also formed in 1972. And for the longest time, you know, people of Manipur were yearning for a national sports university. That came about only 2 years back. Thanks to whom? Thanks to Prime Minister Modi. And let me very quickly, Heena, very quickly in 20 seconds. 8 lakh people benefiting from Pradhan Mantri Kisan Yojana in Manipur. 7 lakh people benefiting from Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana in Manipur. 1 lakh people have been given houses under Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana in Manipur. 5.5 lakh people have been given Ayushman cards in Manipur. 2.5 lakh women have been given free gas connections in Manipur. 2.3 lakh households have been given free electricity in Manipur.
Okay.
And Heena, 40,000 toilets under Swachh Bharat Abhiyan have been built in Manipur alone. ये किया है प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने, इसलिए डिबेट पर पढ़ लिख कर आया करो.
Okay. All right, Sanjeev Verma, you've made your point. A humble request to all my guests here on the show. Let's not indulge in any kind of personal attacks. I want to go across to now Advocate Nikhil Jain. You know, the question that the opposition has repeatedly raised is, why is the Prime Minister not visiting? Now, if we look at Advocate Nikhil Jain, hear my question.
No, I don't want to listen to your question. First of all, you have to correct Sanju. And this pedestrian behavior of hers, I take very strong objection to the fact that she's making personal remarks.
What did I say? Before even coming to you, Advocate Nikhil Jain, what did I say? 1 second.
First of all, you should have... No, hold on.
1 second. Advocate Nikhil Jain, before even coming to you, what did I say? What did I say? That, you know, I am just requesting everybody that no personal attacks on the debate, please.
Will you let me speak or shall I leave?
Why are you threatening? Why are you threatening to leave? What is wrong?
No. It's very wrong. The fact that you allowed her to make her entire statement after she makes a personal remark. Number one. Number two, what does she mean when she says the law clerk masquerading as an advocate? That's a personal remark. That's incorrect, and what she's intending is defamation. I was a law clerk appointed by the Chief Justice of India to appoint a Supreme Court judge in doing case research. I am not a munshi. Alright? I am a lawyer. I practice in the Supreme Court. I am not going to take this bullshit from this absolute...
All right. I completely respect your sentiments, Advocate Nikhil Jain, and that is exactly the reason why I said no personal attacks on the debate. Okay, calm down. Sanjeev Verma, we don't want anybody indulging in any kind of personal attacks here. We're discussing a very, very important issue, and I give equal opportunity to everybody to speak as well. So let's calm down, all of you, please. Advocate Nikhil Jain, I think you've made your point. Advocate Nikhil Jain.
I will not sit through it if she makes a remark again.
No, I have told her. I have told everybody that no personal attacks, please. No personal attacks. Okay. Advocate Nikhil Jain, do you want to respond now? Should we move ahead in the debate? I have made that point amply clear. No personal attacks on the debate are going to be allowed. Advocate Nikhil Jain, every time I address... 1 second. Advocate...
Can you look at that lunatic laughing? She's having a fun time after...
Advocate Nikhil Jain, I do not even call you Nikhil Jain. I call you Advocate Nikhil Jain. With due respect, one second, and that is the reason why I intervened. You know, we are losing precious time. It's an important debate that we've come here for. We're losing precious time. I completely respect your sentiment, and that is the reason why, before coming to you, I said, it's my humble request. Let's not get into personal attacks of any kinds, and let's have a civil debate. We're discussing a very, very important issue. We're talking about a new dawn for the people of Manipur. So, Sanju Verma, you've made your point. Now I want to go across to Advocate Nikhil Jain. Now, coming to the subject. No, Sanju Verma, 1 second. Advocate Nikhil Jain, now the point that's being made right now is that why is the opposition not ready to see this as a healing touch? We know the situation in Manipur, the problems that arose in May 2023, they are not new. The problems have been going on for quite some time. You know, I was looking at some data. Last time a Prime Minister of India visited Churachandpur was in 1988, when Rajiv Gandhi made a brief stop in the tribal district during his tenure. This issue was there for a very long time. The reason why things flared up, why no Prime Minister after that visited this particular area and solved the problem once and for all. And today when Prime Minister Modi visited this area, you're calling it nothing but dikhava, tokenism.
See, Heena, problems have been going on in the state of Manipur for a very, very long time. But the scale of the problem, the size of the violence, the absolute lawlessness and complete collapse of the state machinery, that is not something that has happened in decades, and that happened under the watch of Prime Minister Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah, and it was his moral responsibility, his political duty, and everybody is Prime Minister. I may not like him, I may like him, I may disagree with his views, I may agree with his views, but he is my Prime Minister. He is also the Prime Minister of the people of Manipur. We all expected a healing touch from the Prime Minister for him to show, statesmanship and leadership while the state was burning. I could have understood had he not visited in the initial few days, because he wanted the state machinery to act and calm down the situation. But you cannot visit for years and then go and say, oh, look, I have come, this is a healing touch, you should all bow before me. And I don't think that's done. He should have visited the state many, many years ago. But glad that he's finally doing it, and he's realizing that he has a responsibility as the leader of the nation to visit a conflict-struck area of the country.
Tushar Gupta, was it on centre's mind that if Prime Minister Modi went in the middle of strife, crisis, violence that was happening, things may take an India versus Manipur spin, while on ground, the state government versus the groups there?
No, that is why I started my point saying that a lot goes on in the PMO with respect to Manipur. We keep thinking that Manipur was a domestic issue. Are we going to sit here and pretend there was not Myanmar on the table? There was not Chinese involvement on the table. There was not a diplomatic crisis that was also being managed at the back end. Do you know one of the borders areas between Manipur and Myanmar has a very, very dense forest? Dense forest, ununderstandable for people who live in urban areas. And that is one area which is also being seen a lot of intrusion, and Assam Rifles there deployed there has a responsibility of fixing that issue also. So a lot was going on for the last 2.5 years between the Home Ministry, the PMO, the forces on the ground. So to think that PM just woke up today and decided to go to Manipur and announce an array of projects, that's not how it works. And that is where I really, find very juvenile, perhaps, the comments being made by Nikhil Jain. He understands law pretty well. He understands security pretty well. He has been researching for the Congress, for the Indian Youth Congress. So it's not like he's oblivious to how power corridors work. And that is where we need to understand that the best way to take Manipur ahead is through hardcore economics, build the local infrastructure again, and that is what the PM's visit signifies. Again, this was not about PM going this and then and when. No, this was about tackling a very sensitive crisis that also had external parties involved. Please remember that.
Professor Monojit Mondal, now you said that after about 30 odd months of mayhem, PM got time to visit Manipur. Again, like I was quoting some data earlier on the show, I just want to quote some more data. 1993, major ethnic violence took place. Hundreds were killed. The question is, did PV Narasimha Rao visit the Prime Minister at that point in time? Since 1947, violence has been happening. Insurgents versus insurgents has been an issue. Congress has ruled India majority of that, particular period. Why no lasting solution really was found all these years? And when today a hope for peace, new dawn is being given, why is that being politicized?
I think this is an insipid, bizarre kind of a logic. If wrong was done in the past, the same wrong would be repeated now, when the Prime Minister confessedly talked about his own Look East policy. Then ask him to confess, acknowledge that he is also hypocritical like other Prime Ministers that you referred to. They are like the point. If there is even iota of issues in Bengal, he calms himself or he sends the Home Minister to Bengal where everything is absolutely okay in Bengal. There is no issue. Your government is, giving us thumbs up in terms of all other projects and, other issues, law and order. And he can't even visit to Manipur even once in 30 months. Home Minister went there, at least I think once he went there 1 year ago. So if the Home Minister can go, and my friend Tushar was talking about foreign hands, if I understand correctly. In that case, he should go there all the more, because he should give them the trust. There was a trust deficit. When the ethnic conflicts were going on largely between the Metis and the Cookies, the Prime Minister should go there to give them the trust. Like, we are with you. The entire country is with you. Even the opposition delegation wanted to go. They were stopped. They were stopped to go there in Manipur. I think some opposition MP could go there, but largely they were not allowed to go. And what about even Pahalgam? Still that visit to Pahalgam or Kashmir is avoided after that brutality by the terrorists. The Prime Minister is but he has all the time to come to Bengal. I am all okay with him. We'll come and go, give him Rasgulla, bucket full of Rasgulla. Come to Bengal again and again. We understand that he will be coming to Bengal.
Okay. Sanju Verma, at least Professor Monojit Mondal has accepted one thing, that previous governments could not find a solution to the problem here, even though he's raising questions on Prime Minister Modi's visit today, which he again is repeating that it was late. It should have happened long back. Your response?
And Heena, I love coming on your show. Let me make one thing very clear. I gave the introductory statement. I again spoke in the second round. I did not make a single personal comment. But Nikhil Jain started by calling the Prime Minister.
Let's now leave that. Let's leave that. I have very little time on the debate, Sanju.
Can I just finish?
Let's leave that. We've had a long discussion on it.
Can I please complete? With folded hands, can I complete? I would like to tell for the nth time to Nikhil Jain, if you abuse the Prime Minister, you will be called out. You called me lunatic. If I call you a bald-headed, shameless lunatic, then don't start crying.
I am making a humble request now. You all are extremely talented people, and that is why you are here for the debate. And let's not get into this tutu meme, targeting each other, personal attacks. I'm sorry, we don't want all of this. Viewers are expecting something out of this debate. Let's give it to them. You're all very well learned, educated people who are here on my debate tonight. Sanju Verma, please now make your point. No personal remarks at all.
Yes, not calling anybody lunatic or shameless. Thank you. Or bald-headed. Now, Heena, let me make one point. In 1985, Rajiv Gandhi signed the Assam Accord. And what was the basic premise of the accord? That indigenous Assamese will be given their rights. The Congress was in power till 2014. Between 1985 and 2014, for a brief period when the Congress was not in power, indigenous Assamese were never given their rights. Then under Rajiv Gandhi, 1986, the Mizo Accord was signed to give tribal Mizo people indigenous rights. And for the longest time Congress was in power, nothing was done for the tribals in Mizoram. In 1988, again under Rajiv Gandhi, the Tripura Accord was signed and nothing was done for indigenous Tripuris. And my final point is this, Heena. Do you know when Sikkim got its first airport? In 2018. Do you know when Tripura first came on the broad gauge of India's railway network? 2016. Do you know when Assam got its first AIMS? In 2023. Do you know when Mizoram got connected to India's railway network? After 78 long years.
Right.
So my limited point is that the Congress has only given slogans. But yadi zameen par utar kar kisi ne kaam kiya hai? In fact, you are so well read. Do you remember earlier this week, Prime Minister Narendra Modi penned a beautiful article on Bharat Ratna Bhupen Hazarika. Now Sonia Gandhi can write an op-ed column on the Great Nicobar project.
Okay.
Bhupen Hazarika par likhne ke liye Sonia Gandhi ko waqt nahi milta.
Okay. Let's stick to Manipur now. We're not talking about what's happening in Assam. You've made some pertinent points, each one of you, and I want to go across to Ghanshyam Tiwari now. Ghanshyam Tiwari, Prime Minister today inaugurated several important projects as well. The Manipur Urban Road Project with a cost of about 6,300 crore rupees. Manipur Infra Development Project with a cost of over 500 crore rupees. Government of India has chosen Manipur for the country's first national sports university. Modern sports infrastructure is being developed for the youth of Manipur. Then for those living in temporary shelters, government has built about 7,000 odd houses, and several such schemes Prime Minister announced today. I want to ask you, shouldn't the opposition perhaps back the hope for the good of Manipur instead of a discordant note? Perhaps politics can wait sometimes when it is about the people of our own country?
Heena, 3 quick points. The only 3 times or 4 times Prime Minister Modi visited Manipur till this date was in that month when Manipur was up for election. And what did he do? I read from the Press Information Bureau. Prime Minister inaugurated projects worth 18,050 crores, 1,850 crores. What happened to that 1,850 crores? Second, I read from today's press that former Chief Minister of Manipur, N. Biren Singh, has been central to arranging Prime Minister's visit. Then I look at what Supreme Court is saying. Forensic exercise on audio clips of Biren Singh is misdirected. Here is a man who is accused of blood on his hands through the audio clips. The matter is in Supreme Court, and Amit Shah sits over it. Amit Shah apparently has very good hair and Nikhil does not have. And Prime Minister sits over it, and Prime Minister has woken up, and today, because he has woken up, the man who arranged his visit has blood on his hands as per the audio clips in Supreme Court. And we should be hopeful. As I said, I repeat, I did not call the Prime Minister shameless. I said BJP is the party of ultimate shamelessness. And his leadership demonstrates to us why it is a party of ultimate shamelessness, because it will insult anybody who wants to see leadership as a matter of courage, as a matter of principle, as a matter of leading by example. A Prime Minister visiting Manipur many times before election, announcing all these schemes, giving all these false hopes that Manipur will have peace, harmony, will be the biggest center in East Asia, and vanishing when hundreds of people have been killed, when the governor has been crying, when his minister's homes has been damaged, when the chief minister has been accused of having blood on his hands. The matter is in Supreme Court, and his government is accused by the Supreme Court or mentioned by the Supreme Court of misdirecting. Again, I rest my case. BJP is a party of ultimate shamelessness.
Quick response, Sanju Verma, then Tushar Gupta, then I'll go across to Advocate Nikhil Jain.
First and foremost, I completely debunk Ghanshyam is making an absolutely maliciously false statement. The Supreme Court never said that the Manipur BJP government of erstwhile Biren Singh had blood on his hands. So Ghanshyam, please do not lie brazenly on national TV. The second point, Ghanshyam giving lessons on governance and morality to BJP. Heena, do you remember a few months back, there is a man called Moeed Khan who raped a 12-year-old Dalit girl. And what did Akhilesh Yadav shamelessly say? And I am now saying brazenly, yes, Akhilesh Yadav is shameless, because he said,
okay,
12 साल की बच्ची का पहले DNA test करवाओ, मोहित खान का DNA test करवाओ.
Now,
बाद में हम सुनेंगे.
I don't have a lot of time. Very quickly finish your point. Tushar Gupta.
Your leader.
It tells a lot about the political acumen of Ghanshyam Tiwari if he thinks actually that the former Chief Minister of Manipur is responsible for arranging the trip of the Prime Minister. See, that is why I always say that regional parties always tend to politicize national issues just to make headlines. They actually are devoid of ideas. And that is why taking ideas from Samajwadi Party here is absolutely futile. It's absolutely needless. Again, Heena, we have to look at the larger point. Irrespective of Congress or the BJP, Manipur has to move forward.
Yes.
What is that one way to take the state forward? it is through economics. We need to rebuild there, and we need to rebuild fast. We need to create employment opportunities for the people there. The ones who are impacted very harshly by the violence, they need to be, sort of helped with all the social welfare there is, all the state aid there is, and this is what we have to focus on from now on. The opposition's political rhetoric makes zero sense. It's all about getting Manipur back on its feet for the next few years. That's all.
Okay. Advocate Nikhil Jain, closing comments.
So Tushar says that it's all about getting Manipur back on its feet and economy is the right way to do it. Nobody disagrees with him. I completely agree with him. But fact of the matter is that the Prime Minister is not just an economist. He's not an economist. He's a political leader. We expect political leadership from him. Why does he want to turn a blind eye to the people of Manipur? And also, let's not be lost on the timing of this entire visit. He did not do it a month ago. He did not do it 2 months ago, 4 months ago, 5 months ago. He did it right during the Bihar elections, right ahead of when he'll start campaigning and canvassing in Bihar. And numbers are showing that the credibility of the Prime Minister in the state of Bihar is reducing. He knows that he'll have to face these remarks by the opposition कि आप मणिपुर तो जा नहीं पाए, बिहार की बेटियों को कैसे बचाएंगे, तो Prime Minister चले गए 2 दिन पहले.
All right. Okay, Ghanshyam Tiwari is also raising his hand. 10 seconds, very quickly, please. I'm completely out of time.
Well, unlike Tushar, I'm not a master of fake news. Anybody can Google the India Today headline, Biren Singh oversees PM's Manipur visit. So the matter is, when you have to defend a party of ultimate shamelessness, you have to show a same level of ability to be shameful in putting fake news.
Is that your closing remark on a subject that we are discussing today, Manipur, where we can see
remark is Biren Singh is overseeing
signs of hope, because we saw visuals, and these are very powerful visuals, viewers, we got from Manipur today. Those little girls, those women, elderly, they were crying, they were sharing their pain and grief with the Prime Minister. Just look at these visuals. This is what has happened in Manipur, and that's why I asked that perhaps for some time we can keep the politics aside. We're talking about the people of northeastern state who are very much, part of our country, and we also need to think of their future. And Prime Minister today tried to show a path. When he did not visit Manipur, questions were raised. Today he's visited Manipur. Now questions are being raised as to why today. I will just like to end this debate by quoting what the Prime Minister said. I think that was very interesting. He said, Manipur has money, a jewel in its name. We hope peace gets a chance and Manipur shines like a jewel. I'm completely out of time. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us here on this debate.